G'day guys, Mr. Simons here. I want to talk to you about your Year 10 English rewrite task. You're going to have to choose a paragraph from the essay that you wrote on Gattaca. You're going to have to rewrite that using the feedback from your teacher and the rubric that we've given you. The rubric's really good because it lists all the skills in really specific ways to help you to improve your own writing. So guys, just to go over really quickly what the task is, you are to select 3 skills from the skills-based rubric and using written feedback for your essay and the next level of skills in the rubric, redraft a paragraph of your essay attempting to make improvements. You also need to make annotations on this. So because you're writing it at home, you might just write these in dot points underneath your rewritten paragraph. But if you have the capability of using a pen on your screen, you could annotate. I'll give you a good example of one that I've written. Just have a look here. You will not be assessed on the quality of the improved paragraph, but rather your ability to demonstrate where you have implemented the feedback. So it doesn't matter how you did in the first draft. It doesn't matter how you did in the first essay. Okay, all that matters is your ability to improve now. Okay, so whatever you did before doesn't matter. It's about your ability to improve. Okay, there's some guiding questions here. So if you choose a paragraph of yours, then you might make some notes on what you are going to improve on using these questions. Okay, for each question you might make 2 or 3 notes on, I want to improve that, I want to improve this. Okay, so these help you. All right, here are the criteria. Identification of skills for improvement. So that's your ability to look at the rubric and say, I want to do this skill, and you look at your written paragraph and you identify, maybe it's the topic sentence, maybe it's the vocabulary, maybe it's you identifying. The next one, this is what you get a lot of marks for. Articulation of strategy for improvement based on the feedback. So here is articulation. That's your ability to explain. Okay, can you explain your strategies to improve your paragraph? Okay, here's the based on the feedback. So your teacher's giving you feedback, and that could be a full sentence that they've written about your work, or it could be a tick on the rubric. Okay, I'll show you what that looks like in a second. Effectiveness of the improvements made. This is your ability to actually rewrite it better. Okay, so maybe you've identified an area of concern, you have described the strategies you're trying to use to improve your work. Here is whether you've actually improved it or not. Okay, and your teacher will tell you whether you've improved it or not, but it should be evident to you whether you've improved it. Okay, here's your use of annotations to identify and explain. Okay, so you get marks for actually annotating itself. All right, let's jump over to an example that I've given. You should have a copy of this, so you can read. Here's the essay topic, and here's the contention that I was trying to prove. Here's the first body paragraph. So I haven't got the introduction there. Here's the first body paragraph though. The topic sentence should be a clear argument. The elite class of valids cannot be all that they are supposed to be because of the way they think of their perfect DNA. You can see that is loosely connected to the essay topic here. It's loose. It's also a bit clunky in its wording, so I want to improve that. Let's look at the way I improved it. Okay, here, that's the improved version. Nichols shows that the valids struggle to achieve their potential because of unrealistic expectations of their DNA. You notice here, clunky, here is far more sophisticated in its language use. Potential, unrealistic expectations. The valids struggle. You notice I've got the authorial intent there. I've simply used the author's name to show that I understand that someone made it, okay, and that he's trying to do something. Nichols shows. That sentence there should be linked to the topic here. The world of Gattaca is focused on genetic perfection, yet it is the imperfect Vincent who achieves the most. Nichols shows that the valids struggle to achieve their potential because of the unrealistic expectations of their DNA. That should be linked to that. Here, Vincent achieves the most within the world of Gattaca, while others are limited by their perception of their genes. Perception of their genes, the unrealistic expectations of their DNA, that links to here. See that? Alright, let's jump into how the evidence has been used. Vincent and his brother are rivals with each other. Anton is more elite, and Vincent is a godchild. So that's introducing a relationship there and contrast between them. Vincent dreams of overcoming his DNA, but Anton has perfect DNA, so he doesn't think to try to be better. So that's good. That's some discussion of evidence or a moment. The director uses many shots to prove this, like the overhead shot of when they play chicken and Vincent wins. This shows how Vincent is better. See how simplistic this is? This shows how Vincent is better. I like that we've got this overhead shot. That's great. That's evidence. And we've got this godchild here. That's great. That's evidence. But the link between the evidence and the argument is not strong enough. Let's see how this improved version does it. As Vincent and Anton grow, they experience an intense rivalry. Notice that intense rivalry instead of this. Vincent and his brother are rivals with each other. Like, how clunky is that? But this, they experience an intense rivalry. This rivalry is fueled, notice the language here, by Anton's arrogance, as he is aware of his superior DNA, and by Vincent's dream of overcoming his genetic shortcomings. Notice the language is much richer and more specific. Overcoming his genetic shortcomings. This really explains the relationship much better and the tension between that relationship. Okay? Notice here, this is the discussion of this overhead shot, which we use all the time, which we love to use. Nicol uses mise-en-scene to explore Vincent's drive to beat his brother, who symbolizes a perfected Vincent, simply the best of their parents' DNA. Notice that mise-en-scene. An overhead shot of the brothers playing chicken demonstrates how Vincent is eventually able to beat Anton. Notice that, the discussion of what the shot actually does. What is Nicol doing and what does it mean? Here, Vincent dreams of overcoming his DNA, but Anton has perfect DNA, so he doesn't think to try to be better. That's really short, clunky phrasing. Here's the director uses many shots to prove this, like the overhead shot when they play chicken and Vincent wins. Notice the use of language here, mise-en-scene. It's a simple addition of terminology which we've taught you. Okay. This shows that Vincent is better. Like, how clunky and silly is that? The wording is really basic. Okay. Here's a further discussion here. I've gone on to discuss actually the symbolism of these other film noir things. So the water is murky and choppy, which signifies the danger to Vincent's life in performing this feat. Notice this word signifies is very similar to symbolizes. Okay, so there's some language that I want you to use, symbolizes and signifies. Though he is rewarded when Anton cannot live up to his genetic potential because he is afraid of continuing. Look at that. This proves the point. Alright, we've got evidence here of murky and choppy water and the overhead shot, and this proves the point about Anton not living up to his genetic potential. This relates to the topic sentence. Alright, see how evidence and then relate back to topic sentence. It's kind of like a link in itself. Let's look at here, this last little bit. Vincent yells at his brother saying that he doesn't need rescuing. Well, that's a good quote in there, great, but it's not used at all. What does that even mean? Vincent yells at his brother. So it's not related to this argument, okay? Let's see how this is used here. Vincent later references this failing, gloating at the fact that he doesn't need rescuing, but his genetically superior did need rescuing once. Notice that this actually ties it to the argument. This discussion ties the evidence to the argument. Okay, and notice here I've got this box square bracket because I had to change my quote to suit my sentence. It would be grammatically incorrect, okay, if I just used the quote as it was in the film. So I changed it, and just to show my teacher, hey, I've changed the quote, I've used square brackets. All right, but it's still, and that's to show that I've embedded it well. All right, let's look at the last sentence of each. While Anton had better DNA, it doesn't mean that he would do better things. Actually, because he has better DNA, this caused him to do less good things. Notice how clunky that is, and it's kind of nondescript. Less good things? What does that even mean? So I need to rewrite this link in a better way, and it needs to address this, and it should be connected to my essay topic overall as well. This is what the link does. The link brings this argument to the overall idea of the topic. Okay, let's look at my last sentence and see what it does. While it is true that the valids have superior genes, this is no guarantee that they will succeed in life. Indeed, the weight of expectation is detrimental to their success. Notice how this really academic and sophisticated and very specific language. So this is vague and general up here. And that's why we like academic and formal languages. It's more specific. It's more articulate. So that's what we're trying to get you to do. Guys, you'll notice I've written annotations all around here. You will do that in dot form underneath your paragraph. But if you have the capability to write it like that, that's fine. Just have a look here. This was the original. This is the original rubric to mark the top one. That top one. Okay. And then here, arguments complement. Here, they're all down here, here, and here. And so I chose these three things to try and improve. And then my language, this is all language, these ones here are all language. So I wanted this one, I wanted to get up here somewhere. Okay, this is what I'm trying to do. All right, and I do that by using the terminology that my teacher's given me. And then here, simple and run-on sentences. I want some complexity in my sentences. I want to add introductory clauses and more description and things like that, okay? So just have a look down. This is the new rubric. This is remarking it, and this is the difference. So it was here before, so this is what I'll be marked on. The difference between this and this. The difference between this and this. So that's my mark there, okay? And here, this is much better, and I think I used this one. This one was before, and this one here, okay? The annotations here, you don't have to do those things. I just wanted to show you and be really clear with you guys. Notice this language, this is what I was going for. Trying to use frequent and accurate use of terminology to describe and analyze. So I haven't just thrown in language, I've used it to describe and analyze, okay? So guys, I hope that was helpful for you. Please throw any other questions towards your teachers, and yeah, good luck guys.